All right.
So we do have a quorum now. We have member Nelson DeLeon on Zoom with us. Wilson Feces on Zoom with us. Sitting next to me is Peter Ryan, and I am the chairman, Wayne Beeler. And with 4 members makes quorum, so I will call to order. Call the Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022 Planning Commission meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is First Energy Stadium. And I'll turn it over to Jerome for an update.
Okay, we received the First Energy Stadium Land Development Plan. This is the final plan application. Last month, we were able to approve the preliminary plan approval. This is now down to just a few items that need to be resolved. We broke up everything down to first phase and second phase. And that really applies to mostly traffic accessibility as well as stormwater management. So we're all set to identify all of those. I do not think that there's anything that we need to confirm from anyone. The Berks County Conservation District will need to review and approve the ENS plan. There will be a municipal improvements agreement, a stormwater management improvements agreement, or maintenance agreement. The Public Works will need to verify the sanitary sewage flows. Fire and Rescue will also just need to do a final verification on the plan to see if everything's acceptable on their end. As part of the scheduling, we determined that we should, or it was our desire to have everything ready to go for approval at this end. And I do not see any objections to having the plan approved with the conditions outlined in our review letter dated August 17th. The applicant is here, and Scott, are you still on schedule?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes, we're still on schedule.
Fantastic. Tim, do you have anything on this plan?
Yeah, the item was brought up about sewer usage. That's already been confirmed. And I see that a note number 24 under the general notes was added to the plan that confirmed that the proposed improvements will not increase the sewer flow, which is what we had already discussed. So there would be no further sewer planning required for this plan.
Great. Very good. Is there any comments from the commissioners?
I have one question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead. Well,
Yeah, sorry. First, I wanted to note that the dimensions of the ball field are proposed to be changed as I expected, which makes sense because not long after the current team owner, Greg Stein, took ownership of the Reading Phillies, as they were known at the time, the dimensions were changed to match that of Veterans Stadium, which was the facility at the time of the parent organization, the Philadelphia Phillies. So it makes sense to take this opportunity to change them. I saw from the elevations that were published in the media, as I figured as well, of course, the batting eye would be changed. I just wanted to be reassured because the drawing showed the batting eye partly in sunlight and partly in shade because it is angled at dead center field. Just to be reassured there isn't any safety concern with that, with, balls getting lost in that, with the, that the pitchers, the batters might not be able to see the pitch coming in or something like that. Is that any concern or not at all?
No, good question. We did send out all of the drawings off to Major League Baseball for their competition committee, and they reviewed everything, and they are comfortable with the batter's eye. It'll actually be an improved batter's eye, because it'll all be one congruent sort of brick color up in the second level. So it's actually an improvement of the batter's eye over what we currently have.
Good. Well, thank you. I don't have anything else, Mr. Chairman. I think it's a great plan. I'm very excited about it. And with this terrific facility the city has, with this wonderful business relationship we have with this treasured asset for the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Are there any other comments on this plan? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for a motion to grant conditional final plan approval for the First Energy Stadium Land Development Plan, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates dated August 17th, 2022. Do I hear the motion?
So move.
Okay, Peter, and I'll take Nelson as the second. Okay, is there a question on the motion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Very good. Okay, and then just as a follow-up, do I hear a motion to grant the Planning Commission Chairman the ability to execute the Stormwater Management Agreement and Municipal Improvements Agreement as needed?
Okay, you already did that.
Yeah,
That's part
okay,
of the first one.
great. Okay, we don't need to do that, so very good. We have a plan on the table for the ready and fills, and they can start moving forward, I believe, with just a few minor things.
Thank you
Again,
all
this
very
is-
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Next on the list, we have the Sixth Spring Parking Lot Land Development Plan. And I see, I'll turn it over to Jerome for an update on this one.
Okay, we received the revised preliminary / final plan application. This is for a parking lot located at Sixth and Spring Streets, which is currently utilized as a parking lot. This will just be an improved parking lot. And we've reviewed this in the past. This will involve the construction of spaces. Is it 21 spaces, Dan?
I believe so, yeah.
At 21 spaces. And the plan still does have a number of stormwater management comments, as well as traffic accessibility comments. Dan and I had a conversation the other day with respects to those comments, and I have my staff going back and looking at the comments that were issued to verify that they are applicable. And we will report back. We'll coordinate that effort with Dan directly. I still think that the biggest issue, and this goes to Public Works, would be the site improvements that PennDOT is going to be undertaking. And is that something that you can give us, Tim?
Yeah, I can give you an update on that. That is correct. PennDOT will be making improvements to the intersection of 6th and Spring, of which this is the northeast corner. And so the comments that are in the letter, I would say you could probably, I would recommend that you just disregard the need for any curb, the corner curb ramps at that corner, at that northeast corner. Now, I do want to get into the curbs and sidewalks beyond those, but as far as that corner goes, PennDOT will be restoring those next year, probably next spring. The project is due to let either this fall or January to be, underway in the spring and summer. So before probably this time next year, that intersection should be improved. And it will also have curb ramps at all of the corners and all of the required pavement markings. I think pavement markings, Jerome, was also included in your review letter. So those will also be provided within the street, not within the private parking lot, but within the street. PennDOT will be taking care of those pavement markings.
So I think the best thing maybe to do, Tim, is just to have a markup of the comments that were issued, and maybe just, if you want to take a look at them, just cross out the ones that you think will not apply now. We'll take them off.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I will add that I think there was a note in there about planning, sewer planning. Was that correct? I don't have it in front of me right now.
It would not apply since, I don't think it would apply because there's obviously no sanitary sewer in that lot.
Dan, is that correct? Is that,
Yeah,
That's a
it's
fair
just a
thing.
parking lot.
so
And
there's no,
they had a zoning variance to allow the parking lot. So the parking lot is to benefit what used to be the old guardhouse on the other corner.
Yeah,
And a certain amount of parking spaces that are reserved for the tenants and then the balance for the restaurant.
okay, so no sewer is needed for this site. You could put that note on the plan, Dan, and that would make it clear. And therefore, no sewer planning is needed.
Dan, how you make it out with the conservation district?
Well, I sent you the letter, approval letter.
Okay, good.
I think for the planning commission's benefit, if I need to sit down with you guys with the stormwater, I'll certainly do that. As far as I've been alive, which is 71 years now, that Spring Street underpass has been a real hazard with flooding. And as I was redoing my calculations that they're looking at now, WEEU was noting that they were pulling cars out from underneath the Spring Street underpass because of flooding. And what my calculations show is that from the original calculations, I expanded the underground detention a little bit, and I raised the pipe a little bit to get more volume in the infiltration. And the area that flows to the infiltration bed doesn't discharge until the 50-year storm. The rain garden that is down by the corner of the property will only discharge, if I recall, only discharges to Spring Street during the 50 and the 100-year storm through a level spreader, and it is at a rate that is less than the existing flows coming off that site today. So I think this customer or this resident is doing as much as he can to try to solve problems and not have a problem with PennDOT discharging more water on that site than necessary.
Hey, Dan, I got a question that, based on what you said, and just from looking at it, it appears that it would do exactly what you're saying. I didn't go through the numbers, but Hawk Valley did. Is it apparent from your report that those statements that you made could be, you could see that? Are those statements included in there? Are you showing those numbers, the pre-developed versus the post-developed?
I have hydrographs that report's about 150 pages long.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go through it all.
I have a narrative in it. One of the questions was what stormwater I'm using. I'm using the NOAA Atlas 14.
Right.
I revised it and I made the stone area somewhat bigger than the first time. So, and one of the comments was that water came in from the site from the north. I graded a berm along that side to keep their water over on their side. And I also had missed looking at the yard area below the parking area and above the rain garden, and I hadn't taken that small area into consideration, and I did. And when you look at the infiltration bed, it doesn't discharge until the end of the 25-year storm. So what I did is then I added the 50 and the 100-year storm into the routing of the rain garden to add that volume in. So I think I have done everything that was asked of me in the original review letter.
Yeah,
And we're
Dan,
comfortable.
the comment I would make, I heard you say you're going to put a berm in to exclude the offsite runoff, which is fine. Just make sure that the note on the plan describes it as a berm. We did this on another plan, and that berm turned into a pond, and the contractor just misread it or whatever and graded it to look like a pond. So you got to be careful how you present that on your plan. That's just a berm to divert flows, away from the subject property.
I don't know how to draw a berm any other way than it's the opposite of a swale.
Yeah,
The points point downhill. And it's going down a 10% grade, so I don't know how anybody's going to get a pond out of it.
yeah, that's what we thought too. Just something to
But
be,
well,
just put, it's a
ink is
berm,
cheap.
not a pond.
We can put all the notes on that you want.
Yeah, that would be good. Oh, and for stormwater, there will be a deposit required for stormwater management inspections over the next 10 years per the ordinance, just like everybody else. So when it comes time to do the escrow and the improvements agreement, there will be a $5,000 deposit for those continuing inspections that the city has to make, like you've seen on the other ones, Dan.
Yeah.
So
And,
the planning commission has the option to approve the plan subject to the conditions on this review letter dated August 18th, which includes most of all the things we've been discussing. Which also includes the municipal improvements agreement, cost estimates, and the stormwater management agreement. So all of that is being contained within the letter. Also, yeah, all the minor components. This way, it also will give us the opportunity to review the stormwater outstanding stormwater management issues, as well as the now site accessibility issues that would be relevant to this project, minus the PennDOT improvements.
Very good. What do you think? Go over here. Yeah, because this is, this family's been waiting 4 years, I think, for this project. So, do you have any objections, Will or Nelson?
No, Mr. Chairman, thank you, and I'm really appreciative that any mitigation of the stormwater here, as you know, from, this big, your neighborhood would be much appreciated. What is really a danger, especially now that we've approved projects across Spring Street that are being worked on already. And like the applicant said, people have to get rescued from time to time. This is, of all the places in the city that aren't next to some kind of a stream or something, this is the one that's the most flood prone. So all that stormwater work here really is important for this safety and for the traffic here. So we thank you for that. And like you said, we've been considering this a long time, so we're ready now. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments?
If the board agrees to give me conditional approval, then I'll work on getting an estimate up, because this project is certainly of a scope that should have an improvements agreements with the city, rather than the little minor ones on some of these other projects.
Yep. Please include 10% contingencies and 10% inspection.
And with that, do I hear a motion to grant conditional preliminary final plan approval for the Sixth and Spring parking lot, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the letter by Hawk Valley Associates dated August 18th, 2022?
What?
Make that motion. Okay, Peter. Do I hear a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay, thank you, Will. Okay, question on the motion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
very good. And very good, we can move that one ahead then. Okay, next on the agenda, we have 322 Walnut Street, annexation and land development. And I'll turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Chairman. This is a plan that was reviewed by my office on August 18th, 2022. This is a revised preliminary / final plan application. It involves 2 lots that will be annexed together at 322 Walnut Street and 144 Rose Street. The 2 parcels will be combined in an effort to do the revitalization requirements that were stipulated by the zoning hearing board, which was, their appeal was approved. I asked that the applicant provide the standard requirements for a annexation, which would include the Z symbolization, common deed description, and corresponding notes. As you are aware, as part of our review last month, we looked at the site accessibility issues as well as driveway aprons, curbs, and sidewalks along the rear entrance or at 144 Rose Street. And the applicant has provided a design for that, which is a detail on the plan. Moving beyond the site accessibility issues, we had asked the applicant to provide sanitary sewer flow values to demonstrate previous flows versus the proposed flows. And it may be a wash since the previous use was a commercial use as well as a residential apartment use. So that one would also need to be resolved. With water supply, the site will obviously be served by public water facilities. And as part of the public water supply facility, the dedicated line for sprinkler system would probably be required, and which flows into my next comment, is that fire and rescue will need to verify that the proposed fire hydrants, standpipes, and related emergency services facilities are satisfactory for this site. That could also then correspond with building and trades, which will also be reviewing this building from the standpoint of the residential apartments meeting the type of units, habitable floor areas, the utility services, sanitation, site accessibility. That's all taking place as part of the building permit process. But we suggested, in order to cover those fire and rescue issues, as well as the building and trades issues, if the applicant wants to request for a one-stop meeting, that might be the best way of getting everyone's involvement back in play. So whatever notes are necessary to be put on the approved plan, we can do so. We did ask for other notes on the plan. There are no municipal improvements involved with this project, nor stormwater management improvements. The stormwater management facilities will be accommodated by pervious paving in the rear, and which is partially stone, but it will be a pervious paving area. There are landscaping and lighting, and a lighting plan was also provided. Therefore, we're recommending a preliminary plan subject to those comments and conditions.
Very good. I would, at this time, like to thank Ms. Oviedo for answering my email. And she believes that the lateral is in place, but it was vandalized over the connection inside the building was vandalized. And the fire marshal has confirmed that this building will need to be sprinklered. So I think that answered all of my questions. Do you have anything on this, Tim?
I'm sorry. Good evening. Well, I don't know if I am prepared to talk, but I passed by zoning regarding the one-stop meeting, maybe help with some questions answered. I talked to Emily and says I should talk to Mr. Montgomery regarding the sprinkler system. The sprinkler system, the base one, the machine basically is in the basement. So we have a water line for that specific purpose. I talked to Mr. Montgomery yesterday. I was waiting for his email. I don't know if he got a chance to certify. He just said, maybe with the water bill that we have is enough, but I don't know. Emily told me that maybe I don't need a one-stop. So now I would like to know exactly if schedule one-stop meeting or no. We already have one-stop meeting.
So I was just going based off of the email that was sent that they just needed to verify that, so she's done a one-stop before. All of these have kind of been flushed out, so it's really just the verification that the line exists, which Jay would do.
Yeah.
So I don't really think the one-stop would necessarily be necessary.
Yeah, just as long as you can get in contact with all those services, because they're not necessarily going to be the checkoff items on this part of the project. It's the checkoff on the next part of the project, when you're going to be going from planning and zoning to building.
Okay,
Yeah, because you'll, I'm not exactly sure what buildings and trades will call for, but they, you know, they, I know normally when the sprinkler system is involved, they like everything in place, and it's, it takes a little bit of time.
yeah, it's a little confusing for us too, because we've been pretty new in all this process. But as far as I know, we have been having the inspectors, and then we got the one-stop meeting, then we got also Mr. Jamal to walk into the building to guide us. That's when we started the process with zoning. We also deposit the permit application for plumbing and electrical. So it's for us a little confusing because we don't understand like back and forth, actually. So if it's
Oh, you-
needed, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It sounds like you're right on track. So, you know, just
So what happens
just
for,
so be patient, because you
Alright.
sound like you have your ducks in a row.
yeah, and what happens from
Thank
here is you'll get the planning check mark. Zoning will be able to issue the zoning permit, and at the same time, and then you go to building and trades.
Yeah, then you go to
Okay.
buildings and trades, submit your plans, and then they have 30 days
Okay, all right.
to make their comments.
All right, thank you. It's a learning process for us.
Oh, no, I opened business 5 years ago, and yeah, it's a learning process. It
Oh,
definitely is.
yeah.
Tim, do you have anything on this?
Just one question, Dan, about the sewer. Were you going to provide that narrative, the previous occupant and the proposed use that was mentioned?
I'll have to,
We-
I'm so busy, I don't know if I sent that in or not. Let me look.
I don't remember seeing it. You may have. If you did, could you resend it? And so Deb and I can look at that and verify
I
it.
certainly can. I know, talking to the folks, it had at one time been an apartment, and then somebody converted it with the goals of making it a daycare center, and now that it's going back to an apartment. That's what I am aware of.
Okay.
Let me, I'll
Yeah.
look here real
If we
quick.
could just get something in writing for the record, so we've got that established.
Do you think it needs a sewer planning module, or that?
Well,
Because these apartments are fairly small. You got 1-bedroom ones, and I think I wrote something up here.
Yeah, if you could just find that. Probably not, but until we have something in writing, it's hard to, for us to understand on this side what the plan is.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna say something. On the beginning of the application, we got when Mr. David was working in zoning, he provided us the previous use of the building and the approval for, I think was for 1977. It was a 3 apartment units, 73, yeah, 1973. It was a 3 units apartment. Then in 1997, I guess, or 94, by Olivet's Kids and Club, they converted into daycare, so commercial, but they never put it in place. That letter is also in that specific notes are also in the denial, the first denial letter from zoning that they would give us. And there's a copy of the approval from those time. So I don't know if I can provide to you. I think it's in zoning department also.
Okay, well, that's helpful. Yes, knowing the history is helpful. And
I
what's-
wrote a
and-
narrative up, Tim. I'm going to email it to you right now.
Okay,
I'll
and-
check Deb's email too.
Oh, good, good. And it's a proposed 3-unit use, is that correct?
Four.
No,
Fo-
No,
Four?
four.
Four, okay,
four.
okay.
Yeah,
We didn't
to
increase-
four, so that's why we need to review.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and then the only other thing, Mr. Chairman, is I think there might have been some reference to the state road, which is Walnut Street. And I don't believe there's any improvement proposed in the roadway itself. Is that correct? Driveways, nothing like that?
No.
Right, right.
There might be a little minimal repair work on the sidewalk in the frontage, but
Oh, well,
it's
sidewalk
minor.
is fine. Yeah, sidewalk is, I'm thinking of
Okay.
HOP. There should be no reason for an HOP for this plan. If you're not breaking the pavement of the street, then there should be no reason for an HOP.
There's no way, the only way to get in off the street would be through a 2-foot alley. We're accessing the property off of Rose Street.
Rose Street,
And
Yep.
I have we're providing the sidewalk and the drive ramp there on Rose Street to access the rear of the building.
excellent, and it sure needs it. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And my concern about that was that if they did need to install a lateral for the sprinkler system, but as Ms. Oviato pointed out, the lateral should be there. It's just been disconnected illegally. And I received an email from the fire marshal that that line is installed. So they wouldn't need to tear up the road to put a lateral in for the sprinkler system.
And that's all I had.
That sewage analysis is coming to you right now, Tim. So you can take a look at it at your leisure.
Okay, thanks.
Right, are there any other comments on this plan from the commissioners?
We were talking last time about curbs and sidewalks. Was that in the plan or not?
Yeah, they have a detail on the plan now showing the driveway apron and also the returns, and as well as they only have a small area that they can work with along Rose Street, but that detail is on the plan. It's on plan sheet 2. Bring that up. Last. And the detail is sideways, I think. There it is.
Okay, great.
Good.
Okay, good. Very good. Okay, so I guess
Where do you go?
since the has been written and submitted, I think we can go with preliminary plan approval if the staff is okay with that.
Yes, condition of preliminary / final. There are no stormwater management nor municipal improvements. We will tie the site improvements, and this will be something new. Dan will give you a note that will apply to the plan to indicate that the site improvements that are proposed on the plan, which would be the driveway apron and the returns and curbing, that would be completed prior to use and occupancy permit.
What is the date on the review letter?
8/18.
That's good.
But they'll change it.
Yeah, there's, okay. Yeah, very good. With that, do I hear a motion to grant conditional preliminary final plan approval for the 322 Walnut Street annexation and land development plan, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates dated August 18th, 2022.
So move.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Second, Okay, Peter seconds it. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
very good. Once again, thank you for answering my email and taking care of all the questions and soon, 2-3 more months, we'll be able to, you should be able to
Wow.
start.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the support of you, all of you. It being a long ride, but I have the right people around me. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank
Gracias.
you.
Nada. Chao.
Jerome, this is Dan. I didn't see the agenda. Are those the only 2 projects or do I need to wait around?
Hang in there, buddy. You're up next.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, and up next is the Fisher annexation plan.
Okay.
For 2161 Downing Street. I'll turn it over for the update from Jerome.
Okay, this plan was last reviewed on June 21st, 2022. It was a simple annexation plan that's going to be involving 2 lots along Downing Street in the Riverdale section. The Riverdale started out with multiple parcels, but this will be combining 2 parcels of land with 1 existing use, which is a half of a single family, a 1-family dwelling with 2 components. However, one of the sides will be part of this project, which is 220 Downing Street. We were lacking the Berks County Planning Commission review, which has now been forwarded to us. It is dated June 13th, 2022. There are no issues that they had presented on their review. We previously went through my review letter, which was dated June 21st, 2022. And it was the standard items that are required for a annexation plan and that Dan has agreed to. So we are in a position for final plan approval. They're all easy items to address. There are no municipal improvements, no stormwater management improvements. Dan will need to provide us with the draft deed and then report that deed with the approved plan. Very good. Do you have anything on this one, Dan?
No, I think Mr. Fisher called me and wondered what was holding it up. He's kind of anxious to be done with it. So I had said we were waiting on the county. So we finally got that. Because I'm glad you got it because I haven't received it.
Okay. Yeah, there was a slight communication error, which we were able to fix with the help of people here in City Hall and over at the county. So see here. Do you have anything on this one too?
Yeah, no, nothing else that I haven't already submitted. Everything looks fine.
Okay, great. Okay,
Well,
anything from
then
the-
I should make the minor revisions to the plan and get it into the city for signatures.
Yeah.
And you want to do that? We'll get ours in and send you an electronic copy.
As soon as these guys approve the plan.
Okay.
So any other comments from the commissioners? No. Okay, very good. Dan, thank Mr. Fisher for his patience on this one.
Okay.
With that, do I hear a motion to grant conditional preliminary final plan approval for the Fisher annexation plan, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates dated June 21st, 2022? Peter. Okay. Peter motions, second.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. All those in favor, please, question on the motion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Very good. Hey, today's your lucky day, Dan, 3 in a row. Yeah.
Is that the last one, Jerome?
Hold on.
you have a time extension.
Oh,
Hang
okay.
on. Go.
Okay, very good. Next on the agenda, we have 531 Upland Avenue, annexation and land development plan. This is a preliminary plan review, and I'll turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, we reviewed this plan on July 18th, 2022. Last meeting, we went over the review with you. We did have a site meeting with the applicant. Tim was on board, as well as, who else was there, Tim?
Well, I know that Chris from our office,
Chris.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he was there while we were there. I know he came in afterwards too. And
Yeah.
we looked it over pretty good.
Yes, so what we determined was that the alley in the back of this property would be best to be served, to serve the property with minor improvements to the driveway apron serving the alley, as well as some stonework that could be done into the alley, but the alley cannot be improved to accommodate two-way traffic. It's hardly used, so we don't foresee it as a problem. We talked to some of the neighbors as well, and they didn't seem to have any objections to what would be proposed. We would stay within the 10-foot wide alley easement that provides access. But looking at the possibility of providing the parking in the front, it just wasn't a good idea. And not to mention our ordinance pretty much requires this type of rear access with the use of alleys. So that we provided the applicant with that direction, and I think that they also are looking for a time extension.
That's correct. And I sent that, I just emailed that to you and Ms. Diaz, maybe a half hour ago, 45 minutes ago. So you should have that extension letter. And what I did was I made it to November 30th, which is the day after the November Planning Commission meeting, I believe.
We still had another month to go yet, but this is fine. I think we should take it now, just in case we're not meeting next month for some reason. Okay. So this is a time extension through that period of time.
Okay. So our time extension was to.
No, it just came in.
It just, is this letter okay, or should it happen on that form?
That's okay. We want to, yeah, I think it's a good idea. We do have the request via a letter. Craig, if you don't mind, can you use the time extension form that the city has also, and that we can just include it within the package along with your letter?
Can you forward that to me? I didn't realize there was a specific form.
Yeah, we'll give that to you.
Thank you.
That's a relatively new item. So.
Okay. And I'm
Years in the
relatively old,
past,
so I forget stuff too.
years in the past, we used to allow handwritten notes.
I remember those days, actually.
Handshake works sometimes too.
So, very good. Okay, do you have anything on this one, Tim?
Yeah, I was looking at the emails. I think, Craig, we got all the information, the application, the fee for the planning modules,
Yes.
all the modules in place. Have you heard anything back from Deb Hogue yet on that?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'll
I
put
have
it,
not.
put a tickler on that so we can get that thing moved through.
Thank you.
Other than that, just to reiterate what Jerome was saying, is that we looked at the alley. The alley is the most appropriate and it's the most legal use for this lot, because that is what the city has established as the access for parking for this lot. And we found that it would be serviceable, and it is being serviceable for the residences and the neighbors in the area, which seemed to be the appropriate way to go. So we're behind the way it was originally designed. And that's all I have.
There was a request by one of the planning commission members to make the macadam parking spaces another he suggested 10-foot deep. Unfortunately, I can't get that and still maintain the maximum impervious area. But what I can do is give you 5 additional feet. So instead of the parking spaces being 18 feet, they're 23. The other thing we're going to do is add additional gravel to the alley behind those parking spaces. Not any width, but to reinforce the surface. Okay, so we will be putting gravel behind those parking spaces within the 10 feet of the alley.
It would be good, Craig, to put a note on the plan to alert the owner, as the other owners are aware, that this type of mutual maintenance of the adjoining owners may be required from time to time on that type of an alley, the way it's constructed. It is stable, although there will be times when that gravel will probably need to be touched up from plowing and whatnot.
Okay,
So it'd be good to put that maintenance note on the plan.
okay.
Let's hold it.
Okay, great. Any comments from the commissioners?
So it's up to building owners, the adjacent owners to maintain, to plow, to provide clear passage in winter storms.
Yeah, it's hard to say how that works consistently from neighborhood to neighborhood. But in this neighborhood, it seems like people take care of their own.
There's no recorded agreement or easement or anything.
Yeah, that is the way it's done in the city.
Yes.
It's a mutual agreement among the owners.
Logic takes in that these guys have 9 parking spaces while everyone else has 2. So you would think that
They would do it for the rest of them, in other words.
Well, in my neighborhood, for example, because I live right on Spring Street, I can't have parking in the back of my house. So what I do is have the neighbors take all the snow from the alley that's at the back of my house and put it in my yard. And, it's one of those mutual agreement things
so
that,
Peter, there's this use that has 9 parking spaces for the 6 apartment buildings. And then there's about 4 other properties that have access to it. So if you utilize the 2 parking spaces, this use will have slightly more than everyone else.
Now you have tenants who probably have some expectation that they can access parking.
Mhm.
And the building owner who then is obligated to. essentially
And then
provide.
there's only one house that's further down the road than these guys, so it's.
good.
Pipe extension.
Okay, so at this point, do I hear a motion to accept the time extension that the applicant has granted until November 30th, 2022?
You want to do one?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll motion. Do I hear a second?
Yep.
Okay, Peter seconds. Great,
So there's 4 of us.
very good. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Very good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're still up.
I know.
Next
That's nice.
on
in a
the-
row.
Next on the agenda is 615 to 619 Walnut Street, annexation and land development plan. And I'll turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, this is a project that we had reviewed in the past. This is a revised plan. It's now dated August 22nd, 2022. This project involves 3 parcels of land, 615, 617, and 619 Walnut Street, which will be annexed together to form 1 lot. The cumulative total is 5,880 square feet. The property will be revitalized and utilized as 12 residential apartment units to benefit homeless veterans. There will also be a 1st floor office use along Reed Street for this project. The applicant has revised the plan to consider most of the requirements. However, there are just a few little minor issues such as the certifications of ownership and accuracy. We had asked that the applicant, I know that the applicant has reached out to the fire and rescue department, but we feel that it's a necessity just to make sure that they touch base one last time to make sure that these plans are acceptable. Building and trades will also be involved with this project next. So whatever requirements are going to be required by them is going to be part of the building permit status. Same thing with public sewer. It appears that this may be a wash with the sanitary sewer flows, but we need verification. Craig, it's just a brief report that you provide just to indicate what the past sewage flows were and what the proposed sewage flows were going to be, so that Public Works.
So you're just looking for a narrative, basically, because, I mean, the project is originally, I mean, the site originally contained 12 townhouse units and an office. We're converting it to 12 apartment units and an office. So
it's just a
under
narrative.
Chapter 73 regulations, there's no difference
Right.
in sewage flows or water usage. So
Right, and-
you're just asking us to provide that in a narrative?
Correct. Yeah, we need that in writing so that we have that on record, what the proposed was and what it used to be. And also a calculation of what those flows would be so that we can see if there would be any type of an increase. You can increase it as long as it doesn't go more than, it can actually add one additional EDU without tripping the need for additional sewer planning and
Right.
reservation, but it can't go beyond two. You can't
You don't
exceed two
have any
EDUs.
objection to using Chapter 73 sewage flow numbers? I mean,
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's no,
I don't
right,
know
there's
that we can get past water use records since it was it was 12 townhouse units. I'm not sure we can do that.
what was the year? What date range are we thinking here? Do you
I'm
have any
sorry?
idea? What was the year? Do you know what year that was that the prior usage, you mentioned the apartment or townhouse, the townhouses?
Well, I think some of them were abandoned recently. Joshua, I believe Josh was on. Maybe he can answer this better than I.
Would it be
Yes.
after? Okay, go ahead.
It was before COVID.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just wondered, was it after 1972? And that's the year that the Act 537 took place.
Yes,
So-
it was after 72.
Right, okay. I might be able to go back and look at water records. I do have some water records, and if you can tell me what the proposed is, either based on, Chapter 71 or using your best information for this type of unit, maybe you have other similar units, with the similar usage, and you can base flows on that. I could accept that in the report, and then we just need to compare the flows to see if we're increasing the EDUs.
Okay, Joshua, I'll catch up with you tomorrow and see what kind of information you have on similar facilities for sewage, water usage is what we're looking for, which will turn into sewage flows.
Got it.
Further, there are no municipal site improvements. There are no sanitary or stormwater management facilities for this project. So we're looking like we're in good shape for preliminary/final plan approval.
Okay, very good. Any comments from the commissioners? Okay, hearing none. I think Nelson had to step away for a moment.
I just had a question.
Go ahead, Will.
We're on the Walnut Street apartments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I was just curious, this is the one with because we had two on Walnut Street tonight. This is the one with the veterans units on the first floor, right?
That's correct.
The homeless veterans. I was just curious, is there some kind of government program, or is it just marketed to, how does that work?
Is it marketed to, yes, I mean, there's going to be commercial on site for the Vash housing that they're, you know, they're going to oversee the facilities. But yeah, so I mean, it's entirely homeless veterans that would be coming in through the program.
There's a program though, is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just curious, and it's good for, you know, other people in the city, the public to know about that.
Right, and there was an article in the Reading Eagle about a month ago regarding the project.
Okay, thank you. I was just wondering about that. Just thought it'd be useful for the, you know, public information. Thank you.
Did you have anything, Nelson? Okay, with that, I will ask for a motion to grant conditional preliminary final plan approval for the 615, 619 annexation and land development plan, 615, 619 Walnut Street. Annexation and land development plan, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates dated August 22nd, 2022.
I offer such a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Will. Second? I'll second that. Okay, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Very good. Opposed? Okay. Very good. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Had a few things to resolve here, and I'm sure Tim and Jerome will be glad to help you with those few minor things.
No problem. We work well with
Thank
Jerome for years. Thank you very much, everyone.
I think yours.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. Next, we have 1849 Perkiomen Avenue subdivision plan. I'll turn it over to Jerome for the update.
Okay, this plan was last reviewed by my office on July 16th, 2022. We had a lengthy discussion with regarding to site accessibility and stormwater management accessibility at our last meeting. And there's been a lot of correspondence going back and forth. And I think a time extension is required for this project.
Yes, they did submit a time extension request. And I think the last thing that they submitted, they did submit some easement drafts. That's been included in the FTP site for review. And so it would just be up to the commission to approve the time extension.
So let's take care of the time extension first.
Okay, very good. And what is the time extension until?
They're asking until September 30th. That's what it says.
Very good. Do I hear a motion to grant the time extension allowed by the applicant until September 30th of 2022?
Sure. Here.
Okay, Peter, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Will. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good.
So the plan isn't ready for approval yet until we resolve those easement issues, but it may be in a position next month. Does the applicant have anything?
They're not.
They're not here.
Yeah, Mark's here.
Yeah, Mr. Ponce is here.
Oh, okay, I didn't see him. Sorry.
Hello.
Hi, did you have anything to say, Mr. Ponce?
I talked to what the hell's the name? My engineer guy, and I can't remember his name right now. Rob. Okay, I'm sorry. He had just said that he was waiting for the city to come back with some something about the access. That was all he was waiting for, and then his drawings would be finished by end of the week. Contacting him, and that's what he had told me. I just want to let you guys know that he was kind of waiting for something about the easement.
Yeah, that draft was submitted today.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I can respond to
go
that.
ahead.
Yeah, Rob Hain, who's the surveyor and engineer for the project, submitted a draft or a sketch, he called it, of a revision of the original submission today, and I had a quick chance to look at it. And I responded back in an email saying that, I didn't have a chance to go through the whole thing, but it really looked pretty good. This is what I was waiting for. The property description now matched what I expected it to be. It was off some, that was kind of odd, but the meets and bounds are now corrected and they look like they agree with actually what's out there in the field. And also the property that's adjoining, which is the city property, also looks to be described correctly. And they're also including on that areas of the city property where there would be an easement for access, the driveway, which they're being used right now, access across that city property to access the garages, and also a little piece there for storm drainage. And all of those, at first glance, of course, we just got them today. So at first glance, look good. I think we're probably 99% of the way there. Just a matter of getting this on, a final plan for approval for the September meeting.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. I appreciate that. I know there were some communication issues going on, and I'm kind of out of the loop as far as what Rob's doing, but that's the only thing that he had told me. So I appreciate your time and to get all that stuff taken care of. So because I want to get through all this nonsense.
Yeah, and Michelle, I had suggested that the easement be more than just indicated on the drawing, that we have a written easement, something legal that goes along with the physical plan description.
Yeah, well, once you have once you approve the legal description and the plan showing the actual easement, we can prepare the
Very
word
good.
version.
Yep, good, great. And that should do it.
Okay, anything else, Michelle?
That's it. We've been communicating and we've gotten this, and it's just finalizing.
That's great, because this one was a tough one.
Yes, it was. And I'm glad we have it. It really settles a lot of questions, and I think much needed. It's a benefit for everybody.
Any comments from the commissioners? Okay, hearing none. We did the time extension. So we welcome you back next month, Ms. Ponce, and hopefully we'll be able to finish this off for you.
That would be very much appreciated. I thank you guys for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, have a nice evening.
May want to consider a motion to table based on your.
Yep. Do I hear a motion to table 1849 Perkiomen Avenue?
Yes.
Okay, Peter, second? I'll second that. Okay. Just take my note here. Okay.
And remember, there's no discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Okay, great. Then after all this time, we'll get this one squared away too. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, next, we have the Hope Rescue Mission Subdivision Land Development Plan reaffirmation of approval.
Yeah, this plan was last approved by the planning commission on April 26, 2022. We did a follow-up review on the information that was provided and provided a punch list of items to be completed on May 17, 2022. The biggest one of those items are the municipal improvements agreement and stormwater management maintenance agreement. Michelle has provided the applicant, I think, with this information. Cost estimates were, I believe, provided, but they're seeking reaffirmation of approval at this time so that they can get everything together and record it and get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I've reviewed the draft agreements, sent comments back to their attorney. So this should be finished up within the next few days.
Okay. So the reaffirmation of approval is something that the applicant provides. We have a standard form, and that they complete that form, and it's giving them another 90 days to get the plan reported.
And are there any conditions?
The May 17th letter basically outlines the remaining conditions.
Very good. Does anyone have any other comments on this plan? Okay, hearing none. Do I hear a motion to grant the reaffirmation of approval for the Hope Rescue Mission subdivision land development plan at 645 North Sixth Street with the condition that the applicant resolves all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates dated May 17th, 2022.
I offer that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Peter and Will. Very good. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Okay. Okay.
So we had a few curveballs today when we asked for people who need reaffirmation of approval, and we got them back at the last second, of course. So that's why our agenda was expanded.
Good question. Is the 90 days from today?
Yes.
Okay. Just like that.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Reading Station Building D, the Cube Smart subdivision plan, a reaffirmation of approval.
Mr. Chairman, this was not on the agenda, which was posted on the city's website. So the first action you would have to take is to amend the agenda, and I believe you could do the amendment on both 11 and 12. Amend the agenda to include the reaffirmation request for Cube Smart and O'Neill Storage.
Okay, that's right, I forgot to do that at the beginning. Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the August 23rd, 2022 meeting agenda as amended with items numbers 11 and 12?
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I'll offer that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Will, second? Sure. Okay, Peter? Any question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And then I communicated with Emily today that the amended agenda will have to be posted on the website.
Okay, great. Okay.
We can hear Nelson.
Yeah. Nelson.
He's not muted. I think it's just his audio isn't.
Yeah, your audio doesn't seem to be working, Nelson. Okay.
He knows.
Great, okay. We can use hand signals, that's fine. We've been together long enough. Next, we have the Reading Station Building D Cube Smart subdivision plan reaffirmation of approval at 600 Spring Street.
Okay, so this plan was previously approved, most likely the same day, on April 26th. So we're now past the 90 days that were allowable for approval. This one also has a lot of activity on it now with regards to the municipal improvements agreement, and there is no storm.
Tim, I'm correct. If I saw an email today, you do not require a stormwater agreement for this project, correct?
Yeah, there's no stormwater on this one, but there is a municipal improvement agreement,
Yes,
right?
yes, which has been prepared and circulated to the developer's attorney.
Right.
So, so it's our understanding that the applicant is now in a position to have everything recorded, including the approved plan, as well as the municipal improvements agreement for the property. We last reviewed this plan back in April 15th, which included a number of conditions in which they are now being met. So we're seem to be good to go. And like I said, Michelle's office already prepared the municipal improvements agreement, and the reaffirmation has been submitted.
Any comments on this project from staff or for the commissioners.
And Mr. Chairman, this is Will. I see the progress being made on this project, and I'm sure you're seeing it even more, and also on the other project on the same site being made. And the project that we approved earlier this evening across the street for the parking lot reminds me to bring up something that you had raised, I think in 2014, which I brought up again several months ago. I hope the city comes up with a plan for the any improvements, if necessary, for that retaining wall that it has on the south side of Spring Street. I can't remember up the north side if Norfolk Southern owns that part of it. And any, any repairs for the subway and the walls of that too, that would be necessary, because like we said about the flooding earlier. So I don't know if anything was done to look at the structural integrity of the retaining wall or not. It's not really affecting this part of the project, but the other part of the parcel, the former Reading Station. But I was, like I said, I was reminded of it earlier this evening with the other plan. And that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, well, we did mention that before that was 650 Spring, that's the GoPuff. And you're correct,
Yeah.
It did not affect the approval of that land development. We did some research on that, and that is actually a wing wall or an abutment wall, if you will, for the bridge, for the railroad. And it is Norfolk Southern's railroad bridge. They own it, even though it might look like from the plaque that the city owns it, they do not. It's a railroad bridge. The flooding is the city's concern. That is something
Yeah.
that we have been trying to resolve.
Yeah.
And we still don't quite have an answer, but we are certainly trying to address that. It's a difficult
Yeah,
problem.
that's a difficult one. Yeah.
But the bridge itself and that retaining wall are all part of the same, and that is Norfolk Southern. And it's their responsibility to make any of the repairs that would be necessary.
So they do own it. I thought maybe at one point we thought the city owned it. So they actually own
Yes,
both sides then of the
correct. Yes,
on
and
Spring
those
Street.
we have the drawings. The things that look like retaining walls are actually wing walls or abutment walls
Right.
for the bridge.
Right.
And they are functionally part of the bridge.
I see what you're saying. They might also have the function of retaining, but I get what you're
Yes.
saying. Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like an abutment for a bridge. Yes.
Right. I understand. Right. So yeah, I guess there's nothing the city can do about it, other than dialoguing with Norfolk Southern perhaps, but
And
improve the
PennDOT. Yes. Hmm.
and PennDOT, right? If nothing else, the appearance. But like I said, my concern was any structural problems. And just to add on to what I was saying earlier about the flooding, which I'm glad you mentioned, the efforts on that, rescuing people in boats. That's happened multiple times over the years. That wasn't just a one-time thing. I just wanted to make that clear. It definitely is an issue, and with Spring Street, being one of the few east-west corridors that's two-way, really from Oley Street all the way out to more than a mile out to Easter's Lane and Rockwood, it's the only way, so it gets a lot of traffic. I know you brought that up, Mr. Chairman, when we were discussing parking at the intersection at Fifth and Spring, and you're right. I'd had to go through that today. I was thinking of that. So yeah. So this is definitely an area with a lot of concerns in a number of ways, and with some redevelopment going on. I just wanted to cover all the bases. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
And while you're mentioning, I might want to add on that as we talked about the parking lot, PennDOT is planning on doing major safety improvements with all the traffic signals and the pedestrian crosswalks. I think there's 13 of them between Spring Street and Center Ave, all the way through there. The entire length of that is going to happen next year. That's been a long time coming. Actually, it goes out to Center Ave. It's an expensive project. And it should be completed next year. And then right behind it, they're going to be following up with a repavement of the street. So they'll be repaving that whole street after they finish with the traffic signals and the curb ramps. So it'll be a nice looking job here after next construction season.
Right.
Okay, with that, So here, do I have a motion to grant the reaffirmation of approval for Reading Station Building D subdivision plan with the subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates dated April 15th, 2022.
So move.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Good to hear you again.
Thank you.
Second? Okay.
A second.
Okay. And question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And on that one, that project, I would like to just mention that they are doing demolition on that project already. So they're and the Family Dollar that was located in part of that building has moved out. So they're moving forward. Next on the list, we have the O'Neill Storage Facility Land Development Plan at 1403 Chester Street, reaffirmation of approval.
Yes, this plan is also in the same position as the others that were just mentioned. The applicant has submitted municipal improvements agreement and stormwater management, or project is required for to have a municipal improvements agreement and stormwater management agreement, at which the applicant has provided cost estimates and as well as revised the plan to reflect all the comments that were issued in our letter dated June 22nd. So they want to initiate construction and get that completed. So the time is going to run out on them as well. I believe this plan was also approved on April 26th as well. So the 90 days has expired, and therefore they'll need another 90 days to get everything done and reported. Okay, great.
There any comments on this plan? I did notice that there was a crew out there 2-3 weeks ago, replaced a utility pole, which was marked on the plan. So yeah, it's seems to be going well. Okay, do I hear a motion to for reaffirmation of approval for the O'Neill Storage Facility Land Development Plan at 1403 Chester Street, subject to the applicant resolving all issues referenced within the review letter by Hawk Valley Associates dated June 22nd, 2022.
I offer such a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Will. Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Question on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. Opposed? Very good.
I think that concludes our reaffirmation.
Okay, great. Let me see here. Actions requiring time extension. Okay. What is that?
If you don't mind, we have one that was submitted for reaffirmation. It's one that goes back a long ways.
Yeah.
And I was surprised to see it. We did get some questions on construction of this project. It's the Jan and Will land development plan. I believe was also an annexation as well. This goes back 2.5 years.
Yeah, case number is from 2020.
It was one of the first plans I reviewed for the city. But it was in a position to be, it was approved, so I don't have any details on it. I think we just sort of, I don't have any other information on it.
If you're so inclined to consider it.
I can probably help you out with that.
Please do so.
Oh, yeah, please, Dan. Yeah,
Should we
It's not an annexation plan. The whole parking lot goes with that old mill building, and it had originally been in one of the outlet buildings. And we were working through this, and then COVID struck. The folks that own the building there, they had some loss of life with their relatives and had other pressing matters. And at that time, they couldn't come up with, do the escrow and the traditional developers agreement. So it's kind of in limbo. And since we've come up with the agreement that they do everything before occupancy permit, we should be able to finish this thing up, and then they should be able to develop the, get financing for the whole project and finish it. I'm hoping anyways. So
This one came in at the last second, and we also received emails with respects to the construction activity, inquiring upon the construction activity. So it looks like the project's gonna go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think, any objection?
Well, you'll need to amend the agenda again
Okay.
before you take any action on the reaffirmation request.
I don't know anything about it. So.
It's
on Windsor Street.
give you a quick update.
it's on Windsor Street. It's across from the daycare. The folks that own 810 Windsor Street also operate that daycare across the street.
Okay, so this is what we have as a summary. The planning commission approved the final plan on May 24, 2022, subject to the conditions in the review letter that was issued on June 17, 2022. Municipal improvements agreement may be required for the public work, may be required by Public Works Department. We may do a simplified agreement on that. We haven't made that determination. Once these issues have been resolved, the approved plan can be endorsed by the planning commission and released for recording. This is a residential apartments, and how many units were there, Dan?
There, I believe it's a 3-story building. There were 8 apartments and 1 commercial, small commercial space in the first floor.
If you feel uncomfortable with it, because we didn't have much time or information on this, we could just do it next month.
I'm okay with it as long as Tim is. Since he gets to be the guy who figures out if the sewer modules were released or not.
Yeah, Dan,
We
I
did
think
the
we
sewer
already, we went all through that. DEP approved that a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
And there is stormwater improvements, and I guess there's some, maybe some sidewalk there, Dan. You're going to do some sidewalk improvements out there.
Probably a little bit. It's
Not much.
There's very little sidewalk along Windsor Street. It's so narrow, but the
Yeah.
most of the improvements are cutting out some of the macadam and putting in some landscaping and lighting
Yeah.
for the parking
Right.
lot.
Yeah, because the building did expand, so we called that an expansion of the use, which would be an increase in the impervious. So the BMPs were required. There is stormwater involved with this, and Dan did the design, submitted the reports. It was all approved. But quite frankly, I thought it was going under construction. I thought it was already done. I didn't know it was still hanging.
So
I can't remember getting it recorded. That's why I brought it up to Jerome today. And it would be nice to get some of these things that, rather than letting them hang around, finish them up and move on.
Yeah, the time frame did expire 2 days ago.
So Tim, you're looking for an improvements agreement for construction of the stormwater, and do you also, a simplified agreement, and you also want a stormwater management agreement?
Well, yeah, I guess we would, yeah, because this would be a BMP like anything else, so we would need a stormwater management agreement. And then the deposit, we didn't need a deposit for that too.
Okay.
It's a very simple one, so it's not going to be an involved one.
Tim, what we've done, what we could do, what I've did in other municipalities, when the majority of the improvements are stormwater,
Hmm.
we could tie the CO into the stormwater management agreement for construction of the improvements,
Yeah, that'd be fine.
rather than require a separate improvements agreement. Do you have any thoughts on that, Jerome?
I would support that.
Yeah, we've done that where single family units get built without planning commission. We just tie it into the CO, so that would be fine.
Okay,
So do the reaffirmation.
Okay.
Get this one cleared.
Yeah,
we could do the
and
amendment
would
first.
we-
you'll have the CO taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right. Then, very good. Do I hear
Well-
a? Do you have something? Well,
Well, yeah, I guess my question, thank you, the question is, before we do that, would we have to amend our agenda?
yeah,
And
yeah, that
then
was
the-
what I was going to do first.
Oh, sorry, very good, okay.
Yeah, oh, but luckily we have counsel here, so.
Yeah, and then I was gonna, I heard her say, it's hard to hear, but I heard her say something about it, but I was thinking of it, and then I always wonder if that's a sunshine concern or not, and
No,
I was
it's,
trying to think of ways we could deal with it, but it's because we're after the deadline already anyway, but okay, I'll let you go ahead then, and
all right. Okay, do I hear a motion to amend the agenda to allow for the reaffirmation of approval of the Jan and Will's Properties land development plan?
Sure.
Okay, Peter, second?
I'll second.
Okay, Will seconds, good. Okay, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed? Okay, and then we will go with, do I hear a motion to grant the reaffirmation approval of the Jan and Will land development plan on Windsor Street? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Nelson? Okay, question on the motion?
It doesn't pose any problem that it's after the deadline?
No,
No.
that's the reason why.
Oh, so we're not, I thought we used to do that before the deadline runs out, but I see what you're saying. That makes sense. Okay.
For your time extensions are before the deadline, reaffirmation can occur at any time.
Right, okay, right. This is all under our new system, so that makes sense. Okay.
Okay, great. Very good. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, there you go, Dan. You can have them, go, finish those, finish that up. Whatever.
Can we do this with the abbreviated developers agreement that they have everything finished prior to occupancy?
We're actually gonna do it in a quicker manner because our stormwater management agreement is required. So rather
Yeah.
than do a simplified improvements agreement and a stormwater, I'm gonna tie everything into the stormwater management agreement.
Okay,
So as
We'll
long as
use
I
the-
have, it's gonna be a little different. As long as I have a plan available, I can prepare that agreement the next couple of days.
okay, I will send you, you're Michelle, right?
Yes,
I'll email you a plan tomorrow.
okay, thank you.
Then, yeah, it's, sorry to hear about, the family's misfortune during the, during lockdown.
Well,
Hopefully they can
it's
move
been
forward.
it's been a tough time for a lot of people.
Okay, next, on the agenda, we have a review of the planning commission workshop meeting that we held last week on August 16th. Jerome, do you have any comments?
Yep, we had a very successful first workshop session. We reviewed 2 sketch plans. the Goggle Works Art Park, as well as the Dream Ventures conceptual plan at 601 Penn Street. So those projects were provided with guidance and direction on what they need to do for their next steps. And hopefully we'll see them soon with plans.
Yeah, and my apologies for just due to illness. I covered something, so I had to cover a follow-up meeting. So fortunately Beth was able to be here.
Oh, yeah, fortunately Beth was able to be here because she cleared up a few items. But for us, that was very helpful. Tim, you weren't able to make it last week. Do you have any comments?
Just for the Goggle Works, we've been doing a lot of emailing. There's some items that the site plan engineer is going to have to address. For instance, there's some public streets there, and there's some alleys that would need to be vacated. And I've been corresponding with Lee and some others on this. So that would be my only comment.
Great. And then I also got in touch with Linda to let Lee know what the council portion of it is, because it's a little bit different than usual, because it's a state statute they have to follow. So they should have all the information that they need there. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was very successful having the workshop, Mr. Chairman, this as well, because like we had envisioned, we were able to give good consideration for the sketch plans. And that way we could just, do all the items we had to vote on tonight, which everything we reviewed tonight, we had already reviewed before. So it really went, that's why it went so smoothly. It wasn't such a long meeting. Now that we have an expanded agenda that we're reviewing more items than we did in the past, it makes sense to bifurcate it like that. And I would suggest that next time, if we could reserve some discussion for the comprehensive plan. We've made progress on catching up on minutes, on the annual report, and on the amendments. Again, I know it's coming up again on our subdivision and land development ordinance. We did a great comprehensive reform of that, and there's some tweaking of it that we're working on. And I know we want to pick back up on the comprehensive plan, and I think that might be the opportunity to have a good informal discussion about it then, as opposed to taking up the regular meeting.
Okay, very good. I was thinking the same thing, so I'll talk to Jerome and Michelle how we want to do that with on the agenda for the next workshop.
We're currently clear.
Okay, great. Yeah, because actually Lee was asking me pretty much a similar question today. So next on the agenda, we have PC activities, municipal ordinances and reports. I'll turn it over to Jerome for the quick update on these three items.
Yeah, the first one is the Saldo amendments to section 515.312B and 515-312D. These are going to be tabled until we're evaluating the possibility of creating a zoning amendment to handle site improvements, and then also a simplified Saldo amendment to just handle the minor land development plans. So it was discussed. Our legal consultants provided us with a great deal of information, and that's what's being considered at this point.
Next is the Planning Commission annual report. There was a little bit of back and forth on this, but we are confirmed for September 12th to make the presentation to council finally on that one. And activities and initiatives for 22-23.
I think everyone has brought up some points about the comprehensive plan, a lot of desire to do zoning and Saldo amendments. So that's a good thing. And I think now that we're going to be seeing a little bit of break in activities, we might be able to at least get everything together on that process. My office has been instructed just to make sure that these plans that we're approving make it through the next set of hurdles that they have to do. We have a backlog of over 30 some projects that have gained approval, and sometimes they sit, and for what various reasons, sometimes they go through the site improvements. But I mean, our objective should be to guide the developers to review the plans as they come in. Once we approve the plans, we want to make sure we record the plans, and then we then can take care of the implementation efforts, which then it's a successful project. If you don't do all those components, you have none. So you got to get them all through. So that'll be our objective.
Okay, just as a quick side note, I kept saying on the city's website, planning commission was only 5 members. Well, I know you have 6, so I was having some concern. So I did reach out to council's office, and they do it was amended in January, so there are 7 seats.
Yes,
So
yes.
I was not aware, I heard that, but I just kept seeing 5 on the website, like, I just want to confirm this.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So the website should be updated as well.
Yeah, so,
I believe council's office did take care of that.
okay, great.
But, you know, that reminds me, Mr. Chairman, another thing that this wasn't as urgent as the comprehensive plan, but so it doesn't fall through the cracks. There was some proposed planning commission bylaws amendment too. Maybe we don't want to forget about that either. That's again
Yeah.
another thing that'd be good for a workshop too, I think.
Yeah, actually, I would like to get that one on the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's scroll up, I think it's still. Yeah, we need to make sure that's updated. Yeah, but above it, where it talks about members to 5, we need to.
Yeah.
Would that be the clerk or who?
The clerk's office sent somebody to do it. I don't know if it was, she might just send it to have the ordinance updated. She may not change the actual web page, this part of it, so it may just be an ordinance update. So yes, if you want to reach out. And I can send you the information. I'm still in the.
Make a note of that, so.
All but continue. You talking about the time?
Yeah.
The way it is you sit till somebody takes your place.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So. Yeah, only half are Julie.
Oh, I thought I was reaffirmed. Bob's reaffirmed too.
Okay, maybe it's just getting the order, this web page updated.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's, yeah. Yeah, that part. Okay, great. That's good. Okay, just a note that the supplemental report was released today. So everybody can take a look at that to see the progress of plans that we have. Next, active plans requiring time extensions. First one is the Medical Arts Building.
Medical Arts Building, and this is the land development plan component of the project. They have run into a delay as a result of a building code requirement. So they are requesting a time extension, and they have asked through, or they have granted us time extension through December 31st, 2022.
December 31st. Very good. Do I hear a motion to grant a time extension for the Medical Arts Building preliminary land development plan until December 31st of 2022? Sure. Okay, Peter, second?
Second.
A second.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. Okay, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, next one is Dan's project, Iglesias Pentecostal, the Movimiento de Fe.
Okay, so we've got a time extension request. This is for the Iglesia Pentecostal. This is a land development plan that involves 1124 Schuylkill Avenue and 1119 Luzerne. The applicant has a number of issues to resolve yet, and including probably the biggest one is highway occupancy permit and other issues that are involved with this project. Dan has granted, or on behalf of his client, has granted a time extension through November 30th, 2022.
If I might say that probably the biggest hurdle on this project is the PennDOT permit. And when Jim Dimmerling was no longer able to do this for us, we hired Greg Borgia, and they have submitted the information to PennDOT. They did the scoping and they submitted information to PennDOT. So we are awaiting some kind of response from PennDOT, and if we get the permits, then we can move ahead and finish the balance of the project up, because it really won't be that much effort to complete it, but we're waiting on PennDOT.
Do I hear a motion to grant the time extension for Iglesias Pentecostal until November 30th of 2022?
So moved.
I'll offer the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Will, and I think Nelson.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. And our last one is the Villa Independent Cottages preliminary land development plan.
There is, the applicant is here. This project was reviewed and the time is going to be expiring shortly. The applicant has granted a time extension through November 23rd, 2022. Does that cover our November meeting?
Yes, I checked.
Okay. And the applicant is here.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you have any questions for us?
I didn't. I got an email today from, I believe it was Dan, or from Jerome from Hawk Valley. And I apologize. I've been out of the loop since April. My mother was gravely ill and I'm down here in Florida, calling you from Florida today. But I plan on getting very involved as of September 1st to move this along. The villa is very anxious to provide some independent housing in the back of the property. And I appreciate your patience with us. I dropped the ball. No one else is to blame, and I'm going to get back on track and be ready by November.
Very good. We appreciate you hanging in there with us. And
I've never done this before, so it's kind of interesting.
very good. Okay. Do I hear a motion to grant the time extension for the Villa Independent Cottages until November 23rd of 2022?
So moved.
Okay,
A
Nelson.
second.
Okay, Will? Any question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Very good. Well, we look forward to your updated plans when you get back, and hopefully it's not too hot down there.
No, it's not. Thank you very much. I appreciate it from everyone. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, next we got the announcements and the other PC business. This is the interesting one. I was doing some research to start filling in dates for the annual plan. And I noticed that the land development plan for the Berkshire building, Alvernia Berkshire building, has been recorded without our signatures. So Michelle has asked us to grant a motion for our solicitor and her team to take a look as to why this plan was recorded by the county without our signatures.
You were authorized to, or the plans were ready for signatures, but they took a plan that didn't have signatures and recorded that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know how that's occurred at the county.
Yeah, so we would just like to
Exactly.
get that corrected. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
Do we need a motion? What are we to authorize? I mean, I don't know if we need to authorize our solicitor to look into something with a
Just-
motion.
It would just reflect that you're all in agreement for us to pursue this.
Okay, I just wanted to hear from the solicitor that was something that she felt were necessary in this case. Okay, that's good. It puts it on the record then.
Yeah. Okay, great. Do I hear a motion?
I'll
make
move it,
that-
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and then I'll second it since I'm the guy who figured it out. Okay, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next announcement is that last month, the
Just question,
greenhouse. Yeah,
question on that. Sorry. So if we were to be brought to us for signature, is it within the time frame and all that? And so we sign them after the fact? I guess that's what she'll look into, but
Yeah, I'll definitely have to look into that. We'll have to figure out what date you voted to approve them and when they were recorded.
Yeah, they were in the
Okay.
time frame at the time, but it's now expired.
Okay.
yeah.
I was just wondering if we're supposed to sign it in the meantime, but I guess we'll have to wait if they're after the deadline, we'll wait till you report back to us then. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Last month, the Greenhouse Committee did meet and we reviewed the draft of the business plan. And tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock is our regularly scheduled meeting. So we'll see how that turns out. Blighted properties, we had I always get these mixed up. We had a certification hearing. We removed 2 properties. Tabled 2 properties and I think we certified 19, if I remember correctly. It is a case where the ones that we were able to remove were because they had building permits and they were moving through the process. So that's always a great thing.
So, I was reviewing a zoning permit and the applicant brought to my attention that they're having issues with the neighboring property that's allegedly on the blighted list. Would you mind if I forward you that email?
Sure, go ahead, and then I'll do a little bit of research. I just received the updated blight list,
Okay,
so I can see if it's on the list and I can do an quick
okay, because
inspection.
apparently he's running into some kind of frustration with the city and getting it situated. Apparently there's been damage to his property because of something that was built illegally. There's a lot in that email, so I'll just forward it.
Yeah,
Can you copy me on it as well?
Yeah.
and I think, it's, because, it's, I've seen this before. And I'm sure Will's seen it before. He did sit on the committee for a while. Just I've returned back on, because I was on for the first 5 years or so.
So what does it mean when you put something on the list or certify it?
There are long list of steps to get a blighted property removed or certified. The first step gets identified, and then it comes There's a bunch of research done. They figure out if there's any back taxes owed, are the utilities connected, is the property vacant, a bunch of other things. So then we get this report at a certification hearing, and then we review the evidence and take testimony from any owner who might show up. Most owners don't show up. And then if you receive a certification, you then receive a letter saying you have 60 days to fix your problems. And there's a number of ways that you can go into a rehab agreement and things, so you don't actually have to fix the building and make it look brand new in 60 days. But if you don't enter into an agreement within 60 days with the city, then you go to this determination hearing. At the determination hearing, then the building is determined blighted, and then it goes on the blight list. Because of a bunch of disconnects, technically what's supposed to happen is that those blighted properties then go to the redevelopment authority. We haven't been able to convince the redevelopment authority to take these things, even though the state law says they're supposed to take them. So we're still, working that out. But the great thing is that if it's on the blight list and you try to sell the property, you have to reveal that, and then a lot of these properties come back, some a few years later, and the people fix them up so they can sell them. So sometimes it's a long process. I've seen some properties sit on the list for 3 or 4 years, and then all of a sudden the people come back and go, hey, because we want to sell this thing, we're going to fix it. So so it's kind of a long drawn out process. Then if the redevelopment authority does get them, then those properties come to us for approval that they're blighted. And then from there, the city can go through eminent domain if they want. And then that process is about 2 years.
And it sits
Yeah.
blighted for 2 years.
Yeah.
Plus whatever time it's already accrued.
Right.
If it were to go to the redevelopment authority, though, they would take ownership of it.
Yeah, they would take ownership of it. And the great thing is that like what they do in Allentown is they negotiate sales and stuff.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of those properties get sold in Allentown.
Especially if there's an adjacent property that's being worked on, that owner might want to have blighted property to add to the project.
Exactly.
Or create parking or do something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we've been doing, but we got this cog in the wheel called the redevelopment authority. So but we've been making the best out of it, and a lot of properties have been brought back onto the rolls over the years through the process. So it's a slow process, but it at least gives us something. Does anyone else have anything to add? Next, we have approval of the Planning Commission meeting minutes from July 26, 2022. Does anyone have anything on this? I only caught 4 minor typos.
Yeah, I'm behind on reviewing minutes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. Do I hear a motion to approve the planning commission minutes from July 26th of 2022 with the minor corrections?
I move to approve them.
Okay, Will. Okay, second? Sure. Okay, Peter? Okay, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed? Very good. Our next planning commission meeting is our workshop, excuse me, Tuesday, September 20th, 2022 at 6 p.m. It's also a hybrid meeting.
So for the workshop meeting, we may have to do that in council chambers. The Penn Room is currently housing police records. And so the hard meeting is that night, and so they usually have theirs in the Penn Room, but since it's not available to them, they'll be up here. They've already booked it for that day. It should be then available to us for workshop in October, given that the renovation for police records is completed on time and they've left the Penn Room. So for the regular meeting, we're still good to be here. It's just for the workshop meeting. We might have to be in council chambers.
We were not gonna have an applicant probably at our next meeting, but we'll just be amongst ourselves. So we can go to a smaller venue.
As long as we have access, because some,
Yeah.
as long, if people still want to participate.
We could figure it out. If it's just gonna be a small group, we could probably find,
It'd be
like
less than
a
10,
smaller meeting.
it'd be less than 10 people.
Yeah,
That would have visual, audio visual. God, that's old. But
I
yes.
would have to see who all had, like what all we have in terms of audio visual. If anything, I mean, we would still have the laptop at least. But I could look at, see where else we could possibly do it if it's just gonna be a small group of us. But hopefully by October, it should be fine. It's just, since police records is in the Penn Room for the time being.
Got the conference room in, what's it called? It's over here on the third floor, on the other end. Human resources.
I could check with them. I didn't realize they had a conference room.
They have a beautiful conference room over there.
I can
Check it out.
check and then see if they have any audio visual and stuff like that.
Back in the day, that's. We don't second, only the third one.
Yeah, I don't think we need a 90-inch TV for this meeting.
Yeah,
No, it's just that, whoever wants to participate by.
yeah,
I can look at what other options we have besides council
Yeah.
chambers, but just.
that's a nice small room. I interviewed David Hunter in that room.
Okay.
And went very well. There were like 6 of us in the room. And, went well, and I think, yeah, so. maybe we could have-
I'll look
yeah.
at options, and then I'll email you guys with whatever options that we have available, and then that way we could reserve the room.
Like you said, we could also use the laptop too.
Yeah, but that's a nice little room over there, and it doesn't have the echo.
Okay.
Like council chambers does. Great. And then our regular meeting will be Tuesday, September 27th. 2022, 2028.
Yeah. That'd be
And,
good, 2028.
I'm available.
Yeah. Me too.
As of right now.
And that meeting, as Emily said, will be here and a hybrid meeting. So thankfully, we did have a workshop meeting because we don't have another 90 minutes to go.
Right.
Because we did it last week.
At the end, it will be under 2 hours.
Did you get a notice, Mr. Chairman, an email for the greenhouse meeting? Because I did not. I checked a while.
I did not either.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
I'm
so
not
I'm
sure I
thinking
could-
that they're not gonna meet because usually the lady
Oh.
at Alvernia sends that out.
Oh, so maybe there isn't one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure I could. Go ahead.
But I'll check in the morning. Just to make
Okay.
sure. I might be the only
Okay,
one.
thank you.
Okay, with that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Okay, Peter and Nelson? Okay, question on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed? Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you.
Have a good one.
Hour 59 minutes.